Hey, welcome to Sports Close-Up. I'm Ed Merritt, my co-host John Matilla, aka Mouse. We're here at Venango Valley Golf Course with the three new owners that just took over in January. To my left, I have Tony Pasilla, Jim Savone, and Mike Piro. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Tony. What made you want to become one of the partners here at Venango Valley?
That's a good question. Well, I guess I got kind of bored in retirement, and I knew Mike and Jimmy wanted to get involved in this stuff, and we went to high school since '87. We knew each other, and so we had a little meeting, and that's where it all started about a year ago. It took that long to get.
Because I see you out here the last couple of years, like almost every day, so you pretty much did get bored.
I was bored, yeah.
Jim?
I'm a golf architect, and I've been working with Durbin and Kim for years, long time. And it was floated to me back in the day, hey, we're thinking about selling, would you be interested in buying? And I remember thinking initially that he was jacking me or joking, and every time I would see him, he kept saying the same thing, and finally I put him in touch with a broker. There's about a month left on the listing, and the broker called me and said, but Jim, he says, we've had some interested people, but nothing's working out. He goes, I think you might be able to pull this off. So I called Mike, asked if he wanted to join me, and we started talking with them. This was all ahead of COVID, and it took that long for them to kind of get things back to running. And eventually Tony approached Mike. He had heard about it, and the three of us kind of got together, and here we are.
So you've been friends with him that long?
Yeah.
And Michael's your
Mike
brother-in-law.
is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
His sister and I just celebrated our 28th year of marriage, and
Congratulations. Nothing to it, right?
nothing to it. I mean, we were dating for 13 years before that, so I've pretty much known him most of my life.
Mr. Piro?
Yeah, Jim pretty much covered it. I was at a job, and he called me sitting at my desk, and I was like, So, it took a long time. It was a pipe dream. We all love golf, Jimmy and I. These guys are more brothers like brothers. Jim dated my sister since 7th grade, so we grew up together, Tony and I, too. So, yeah, he called and I said, well, let's get together and talk about it. And like he said, we came up with a couple of offers. On Durbin and Kim's standards, we were asking, it was a big ask. So, but then COVID did hit and set us way back because they weren't willing to sell. They wanted to be successful, whoever
Right.
they gave it to.
They had a lot
With the restaurant being 0 to 50% capacity, they said we got to hold off. So they kept it, and then once COVID sort of got better, and then Tony, I actually thought it was over. I didn't think we'd be able to pull it off. And Tony called and asked if we were still interested, and then we met, and from there it happened.
No, Jim. You golf architect. How'd you get into that?
Luck. Yeah, seriously.
Because you were a wrestler in high school, right?
I was a wrestler in high school and sort of a professional student. I started off at Allegheny, went there for a year and a half, and then I took a year off, and I was at New York Institute of Technology for a year in building architecture. And I remember the professors kept saying, oh, well, none of you guys are going to get a job. There's too many architects. I'm like, oh, great, now what do I do? And I was really into golf. And I thought, boy, the best thing in the world would be to design the golf courses. And I called the American Society of Golf Course Architects. They said, get a degree in landscape architecture. So I called Penn State, went up for an interview, sent my this portfolio that I had together, got in to Penn State, and then I met my future boss. He was a Penn State alum. He was there for a alumni award, and he was a golf architect out of Washington, D.C. So I met him, told him what I was there for. It was right after he left Penn State. He met up with someone else. They were out golfing. He was an engineer. they deal a lot with golf course architects. He was losing someone, so he told him my name. I went down, interviewed with them, and now I'm graduating from Penn State. His sister and I are getting married the week after, and we're going to Europe on our honeymoon. So I went down, and I remember right before we left, I said, I'm going to accept the job. And the guy said, well, that's great to hear, but Tom Clark, the golf architect, he just lost somebody, and now he wants you. So the whole time we were on our honeymoon, I was talking to him. The day we got back, I went down, interviewed with him, got the job. And it was a month into the job. I was sitting at lunch with all the rest of the guys, and I was reading an article. Mike Hertzen, Dr. Hertzen, out of Ohio, big architect. He wrote an article that says, so you want to become a golf course architect. And the first line was, you have a better chance of getting hit by lightning. Because you either are born into it, you go out and win a few major championships, or you get really lucky. And it was at that point I realized how lucky I was. And I've been doing it 28 years now, going on 29. So
Nice.
Michael, what's your main duty here?
Well, we all discussed heading into this, you know. I'm more the day-to-day guy.
Okay.
Jim's still in Pittsburgh right now. It happened pretty quick. He's still grounded there, but he comes up and stays at the house by the driving range 4 or 5 days at a time, goes back home 3-4 days or whatever, comes back. So Tony, in his terms, said, I'm not looking for a full-time job. But you know, I love that honesty. He was retired, right? But that being said, he does a lot, you know, insurance and 401k. He's involved too. I don't want to make it sound like he's not a part of this, but it was me that I quit my job, and I'm, you know,
Do you
I'm
have
day to day.
any of your family help?
When needed, you know, my wife, if she wants to see me, she'll come out here and on a weekend and help bus tables, just buzzes around, helps the servers
How
out.
about your boys?
Reese right now is a summer job out on the course, so he's helping Alan, our superintendent, out there, so.
No, on Mother's Day, I seen all you guys working. Above the
Yeah,
tables,
and
feeding.
we had them all
Yeah.
on the buffet line, and so they're willing to help when needed, so.
Well, I'd be remiss not to say this is the greatest point guard in Eagle High School history.
Thank you.
And he wasn't a bad golfer either.
He's very humble about that, but I had to say that for your father's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, okay, you ran a successful business in Sears, and then you guys sold that, and now you're into this. Did you ever think you were gonna come back into owning another business?
Well, I was a business major. It's always fascinated me. I like, you know, the stock market and all things business aspect. You know, I always have. You know, it's a big leap. A lot of people can't do it. You know, and it never feared me. Or I was never in fear of going into business and failing or succeeding. I'm willing to take that risk. So I was always had the business mindset. I wanted to be involved in something. So yeah, I tried the Sears for 4 years, and
Well, I'd say you guys got one of the better businesses around that you bought. This place has-
yeah, the Lorinos, we're blessed.
Yeah. Came in dirt
what
with
they
a lot of
have
blood,
built
sweat, and
here,
tears, and
there's no doubt about it. It was turnkey, and we always chose. So yeah, you know, there was a lot of uncertainty on the takeover.
Have
right?
you guys changed anything?
Very subtle things. Jim's done some cosmetic, more or less cosmetic things out in the course that maybe the weekend golfer wouldn't notice, but a lot of the golfers that are every day do notice it, whether it's cuts around the greens, different cuts in the fairway, trimming some branches, you know, just stuff like that right now, you know, things that don't cost a whole lot of money.
Yeah, thank you for number 12, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, so.
4.
But we,
4 too.
you know, going into this, we met with everybody. Uncertainty, right? What's
Yeah.
gonna happen? We sat down one-on-one with the kitchen staff, the managers out here, everybody out in the course.
And Larry Rose is still with you, right?
Larry Rose, Christina, more or less for the managers
Okay.
out. But we, one-on-one, we want you, we're gonna retain you, you know. So it was a smooth transition.
So,
Yeah.
let me get this right. You guys changed the tee boxes. You guys have now 5,
I'll
6, actually.
6.
Mhm.
With
the
some of the golfers don't know. Some of them are still, like I see the weekend golfers coming in and they're still teeing off the whites because that's what they think, you know, it goes on handicap, correct?
Right. Well, each tee marker is rated and sloped, so as long as you have a true handicap, you can, you know, do the calculations and play any tee that you want. But last year when we came in, and again, I've been working with Durban for many, many years, and this would have been something that we would have tackled at some point down the road. But the old, and it used to be blue, white, gold, and red. So they had 4. And between the white and the gold, it was 900 yards difference. And I got involved with the USGA about 6 years ago. We did a distance insight study where we started with mapping every golf course in the country, starting from the earliest aerials we could find and then every decade afterwards. And basically what they were trying to do is to just see how things have changed over the years. And, you know, no surprise, golf courses got longer. Well, in the midst of that, we learned an awful lot of other things, and it had a lot to do with all those tees in between. And some of the determinations were that, you know, the markers should be a minimum of about 300 yards apart and a maximum of about 500 yards apart. So one of the easiest things for us to do was to just go in and create that extra marker that was in between the old white and gold. So it balanced everything out a little bit. Now, we didn't really change much of the rest of the markers, we just changed the colors. So now we have, the very tips are black, then you go to blue, which was the old white.
Okay.
And then we go to white, which is the new marker that was in between. And then the golds became the green, and then the red stayed the same. But we have a red forward where on 3 holes on each side, there's a red post out in the fairway. And eventually they will become true tees. But for those that want to play the most forward marker, when they get to that hole, they just tee off from there. And it goes like 43, 45, 100 total yards. That's kind of the difference. So it was just a matter of balancing everything out. You can also, what we call hybrid tees, and eventually we're going to get to that point where we won't have colors at all. It'll be T1, 2, 3, 4, and we might come up with some clever names, but you know, that way you can have these hybrids where, okay, if you want to play a certain target yardage total, then you play hole T, or hole 2, T2 on this hole, and then the next hole you might go to the 3rd tee, and you just kind of switch between the markers, and that gets you to a total. It's something that has become quite trendy over the past several years. A lot of clubs in particular are doing it. The work that I did up at Lakeshore Country Club, we have a total of 7 markers, but they're going to have 9 different tees that they can play.
Wow.
As you bring in those hybrids.
So obviously that was a big change, and going into this, we didn't want a whole lot of change. We didn't want to come in here, but that was something that was needed. And
Did the golfers like it?
well, at first they were like, what's going on? But now, since I'm here a lot, so I talked to a lot of people, and they were like, you know, before league started, we had league meetings. Well, what do we, you know, there's a lot of confusion maybe. LR was excellent at explaining it, and I did where possible. And it's settling in now, and people understand it, they get it. We're trying to speed play up. We're trying to create tees the way the hole's supposed to be played. If it's a par 4, you should be able to reach it in 2 shots. Whereas some of the other tees we had, maybe some of the seniors couldn't reach those.
Get there.
Right, so let's try to play it that way, you know. And a lot of the ladies are like, finally, you know.
The Thursday senior ladies.
Yeah,
love
the
you.
seniors are like, why don't we ever have forward tees? The guys do. Guys have senior tees. There's just one lady. So it's coming around,
Good.
you know. But the initial change was a little confusing.
The only big difference I see is on hole 16. Seniors are way up, especially the leg. You know, sometimes I'm hitting a hybrid, I'm like, you know, 200 something yards, I'm like, oh.
Well, hey, that's a good point. And in our group, we make them play the whites on 16 because it is too much of a differentiation.
Yeah, that is.
I'm gonna have to talk to Charlie Schaefer about that.
Yeah, but we're you know, we have plans for the future, and a lot of that's going to be tees, and putting them out there where they don't currently exist. It's just going to take some time. I keep trying to talk Tony into buying me an excavator so I can get some of this work done quicker.
Hey, you have all the books, right? You and your wife on the neck, correct?
Yeah, my wife on that does payroll and all that stuff, but that's where it is.
You kind of like the back seat.
We're not buying an excavator.
Now,
That's only means sand traps in my eyes.
because you did all the sand traps out of it, correct?
Yes.
How long
Well,
that
new
take?
ones, yeah.
How long did that take?
Not long. I mean, when I first got involved, and that was another thing, that we want to continue to do. Durbin, of course, the situation is a little bit different, but Durbin always put something back into the golf course. He was always improving and keeping up. And, we want to continue to do that as we can. And it's going to take some time. Hopefully, everybody's going to be patient with us. But we've made some of the initial changes that we could that weren't too costly. And over time, we'll get there.
I seen the 150 stake in
Yeah.
the middle. Yeah, we were illegal. A friend of mine hit that and we shot right to the left. It cost him a stroke. But what made you get out the markers at 200, 150, 100, and just went with the stones and with the 150 marker?
It was, I think, more appropriate for this golf course. Having both, markers on each side of the fairway at 200, 150, and 100. It just, to me, it was more of an eyesore. And
A lot
I
of people
think,
would run them over too.
well, that's true. I mean, it takes a little bit longer for maintenance as they pull those out and work around them. But it was more of a classic look to have that 150, black and white post in the middle that you see at some other golf courses, and everybody seems to be real happy with it. So that was really it. We got rid of the second cut. Was something that we talked about with Alan. Currently, we don't have fairway irrigation, and the second cut was always the first to go during the middle of the summer. And right now, without it, it just sets the fairways off a little bit more, that contrast. And no one plays the ball down here anyway. They're always fluffing it up in the rough. So.
Do you have a lot of outings scheduled?
We do. We actually gained 2 or 3, I believe, this year. So I can't remember the numbers. Close to
68.
I thought it was in the 70s, but we have a lot.
That's
like next
impressive.
week, we got 4 of them. So. And yeah, we do a lot of repeat. So
Yeah, we've had our Italian Civic Club golf outing here over the years, and our Catholic Church golf outings out here. We can't wait. And,
Yeah,
and the people, you guys are just terrific.
yeah, we've been following LR in the few we've had so far and trying to
She's
learn the
good with those
ropes.
outings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she knows. You need to
I've been
follow
on the
her
grill
rules.
a few times.
You've been on the
so,
grill. Took Kim's place.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
Is there, what changes you gonna make to the course, like in holes? Are you gonna make it a true 72? I hear, like somebody
You heard the
whispering.
rumors.
Yes, I heard, so I had to put you on the spot, Jim. Sorry.
Well, one of the issues that I actually learned early on in golf architecture, when you have a par 3 second hole, it tends to create a bottleneck.
You got two
And
of those
so,
in front and back.
yeah, and so when we were dealing with laying out new golf courses, we were always a little bit cognizant of trying to get people out and on their way and hold off on those par 3s until later in that rotation. Ideally, I think, it would be nice to change up the front 9 and create a little bit more of a, true par 36, two 5s, 2 3s. It would also help us in the long run to kind of spread out the play and bring the playing times down. But, it gets a little bit monotonous when you go through and you play a 1 and 2 and then, a string of par 4s and then finish on a par 5. So that in itself, I think, is something that we can improve on. So the idea is that number 1 would become a 5.
Did you move the tee boxes over there?
Stay the same with the tee boxes, but you'd play out to existing hole number 2, green. And then the rest of the routing would stay the same, just renumbered. After you would get through what is now number 6, you would come back over to the second tees and you'd play back to the first green, existing green, as a par 3, which would become 6. And then number 8 would become a par 3. Long par 3, and that way you would have 2 5s, 2 3s on that side. In the big scheme of things, it really isn't that big of a change with regard to construction aspect. We do need to create a new pond out here to create some extra water storage for the irrigation. So there would be a new pond incorporated into that par 5. But beyond that, it's just a matter of building a few tees and building some bunkers and just kind of rerouting.
The main hurdle that he's
The
sort of
power
dealing
lines,
with
yeah.
the power lines.
Yeah.
They do come into play a lot,
Yeah.
and you got.
I've hit them before.
Yeah, well, even in the,
Breakfast ball.
so, we'll see.
Well, it must be nice, his knowledge, gotta really make it easy for you two guys.
Absolutely, absolutely. What he's done out there already, which costs no money, is great. You know, get a lot of good feedback from it, so people notice.
And you inherited Alan, he's great.
Fantastic.
Yes.
The crew outside, they're a godsend.
Him and Todd.
Oh, boy, both of them, all of them. I mean, they're wonderful, and they do such a great job. I mean, you know, the conditioning of this golf course, and I've known it forever. I've been working here for 20 plus years, and it's like most successful, most well-kept public golf course in my experience, and I've worked all over the country. And, yeah, I
And
mean,
it drains real well, right?
it does, yeah, that's another
I mean,
benefit.
we're lucky this year it's been pretty dry, but usually,
Doesn't
Well,
take
they're
long.
going out right now after 2 days of straight
Yeah.
rain and not gonna miss a beat.
no.
Right.
What was it built on? People were saying it was a rock quarry?
Well, no, but there's a lot of gravel. I think any place just off of the
Creek.
the creek has a lot of gravel. So that's one of the reasons it drains so well.
One other thing we started doing last week was every other Monday and Thursday, when you start, you'll play the back first. That way people that only play 9 holes get the experience of the back, because if you come out here at 11 o'clock, the flow's going, so you're not sneaking into the back. So we talked about doing that every other Monday, Thursday.
Do you have to call ahead for tee times? If you just pop in here, it's hard to get on the course.
It's probably less than 50-50 shot.
You're eating a
It's
long
busy.
lunch.
Yeah.
So this is fine.
Yes, which is fine.
To play it safe, it's best to call in for tee times, just like dinner reservations too, so.
Yeah, all the guys back at Pittsburgh, they're like, hey, we're gonna come up, we're gonna, play a couple of days. I said, well, you better make a phone call, make sure that you can get on.
And you probably get people from all over the tri-state area come here to golf. I mean, people still doing like, we talked to those guys at the Riverside, people, there was packages, they'd
Yes.
come and they would go here, to Country Meadows, and they'd go to Riverside.
Yeah.
You know, they come, people,
There's
stay in a
guys that
hotel.
come in for making reservations, and they have a list, Pittsburgh group, I think it was, and they just go to multiple places, and, we run their list, and yeah.
Yeah, they do that every year.
Yeah. So, and I think it was their first time here last year, and they loved it, so they wanted to put it back on their
Like Jim
list.
said, he knows about golf courses, and one of the best public golf courses he's ever seen. I mean, that's a heck of a compliment.
Yeah, no, and the greens out here are huge.
Oh, they run so true.
And, it's the defense of this golf course, really. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of tree-lined corridors, so you can pretty much hit it anywhere.
We were golfing in March and they were still rolling great.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I'm just getting used to it. I mean, it's giving me
Yeah,
the
but you golf
yips.
country club, so you should be used to it.
These are a little tougher. I really do.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta really pay attention where you're hitting it. And
Sometimes you might see a break and it doesn't
Yeah.
break that way,
if you're above it, you're done on several.
especially 14-4.
Yeah.
And what,
Well,
8?
We could go down the list.
Yeah. They've all got a lot of slope.
1, 10.
No, are you guys gonna change anything in the restaurant? Because I see it's still busy every Sunday. Because I come out here and I Ranger Sunday nights.
I mean, we're gonna, like, as far as hours and stuff, we're gonna keep the same,
Are you gonna close in the January?
It's not January, it's
Okay.
typically October 1st. They went to 5 days.
Okay.
And we'll keep that. Staff works their tails off. The
You still
kitchen
have your
staff.
Mother's Day buffet,
Oh,
Easter
yeah.
buffet.
Easter, Thanksgiving, they had last year for the first time. We'll see about that. But yeah, we have many buffets. But we did make a small change. We bought a few tables to put out in the front porch.
I saw that.
In case somebody, on a nice evening or something, you can go out there and dine outside. But everything else is,
I always like going upstairs in the old hotel.
yeah, now that's just for the winter months. Typically, it's not air conditioned up there, so.
I've had family functions up there
Yes.
past.
We use that during Christmas parties and in the cooler months, I should say. So you can get heated but no air, so.
But to answer your question, I mean, we really didn't want to change anything. Recipes, the menu, it's all as it has always been. And that's important. And I think it's really important for everybody that's familiar with this place.
That's why I mess with success.
Exactly. You wouldn't do that. And, you know, for us, I think, you know, hate to say it, but from being Italian ourselves, you know, this sauce is different, but it's what everybody knows here.
Right.
And I've actually come to love it, quite frankly, but it's a little different.
Prime rib.
Prime rib's fantastic. I mean, we've added a couple of different appetizers, and we also went back to the original menu, which was a little bit more. You know, after COVID, they had to strip some things down, so we brought those back, which everybody was real happy with. But, you know, the desserts, the sticky buns, it's all here and it's all staying, you know, so don't
It's a
worry.
nice place to bring your wife to come, because we lost Choby's in town. I mean, there's not a lot of places to come.
Not nice sit down.
Yeah, where you have a good atmosphere, which you guys
Is it
have.
a majority there every day? You gotta make a reservation to eat?
Weekend.
I know.
Definitely
Weekends,
for dinner, and especially weekends. Yeah, lunch, you can probably do without one.
We came out like at 5 o'clock, and we just on the spur of the moment, and that was early, because that's early for dinner for most.
Yeah.
And we got right in, so,
Yeah.
which was, but we sat out here in the bar, we couldn't.
Right, I see you that day, yeah. Yeah.
And speaking about the sticky buns, I remember one of the first times I was back in the kitchen and they're making them. And Kim was still
How many
making.
did you eat?
I didn't eat any. Kim wouldn't let me. But it was hours. I mean, it was, and I said to these guys, I said, man, we gotta be able to buy these things. If Kim's going, Mike said, I'm gonna tell you right now, I take 20 calls a day about those sticky
Yeah.
buns. We're not changing one thing. He goes, because people, they'll call and say, you have some, and they'll come here.
It'll be a riot, yeah.
Yeah. So
For sure.
luckily Kim still helps us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been awesome.
She was a hard worker, honest to God, she.
Both Kim and Durbin have been awesome through this process so far. Whenever we had a question or a need, call them and boom, they were here, willing to help. They want us to succeed. Of course, this is their child.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so we feel honored and blessed that they trust us with it. And,
Well,
And then
I'm-
I'll never
do our
forget,
best.
we closed on January 24th, which is a Tuesday. Kim's coming down through the kitchen on Friday. And the cook says to Mike or son, if we get any more reservations, we need more help tonight. She stops dead in her tracks. She said, I'll be back in 1 hour. Went home, took a shower, come back,
Yeah.
and cooked all night with them.
That's her. no
She
doubt.
never left, that was, you know, she loved it.
yeah,
Well, they built- they
she's-
worked
To
hard.
this day, she's still helping with a lot of bookkeeping upstairs, how to do some things, and teaching me QuickBooks and stuff like that.
I know Durbin's kinda happy, I see him out there on his quad with his
Or you can
grandson.
find him over at the pond
Yeah.
fishing,
Yeah.
throwing some line in. That's what, you know, they earn that, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't think they wanted it in corporate America.
No, I think they're happy. that you
Yeah,
guys
you don't know
have.
what was gonna happen.
Because I know some people approached them in the past and they were,
And it's nice that you guys are local, that's the
yeah,
big thing there.
well, everybody knows you guys.
Yeah, we're about 5 months into it. It's been a great experience. Like I said, we're humble enough to know that we may know the golf side a little bit. Still things that we need to learn, but the kitchen side, restaurant was all sort of spooked us.
Well,
And everybody, we have a lot of experience here, so they're holding their hands through it, being awesome.
Well, it's harder to
teaching
get
us.
help right now,
Yeah,
too.
well, we have a great staff right now.
Nice.
It kept me up at night early on, because it was like a rotating door back there, and it's like, oh, we need more in. But right now, we have a great, great staff
And
on
some
all
young people coming in.
sides.
Do you have a lot of college kids apply for jobs? High school kids?
You know, some servers that need summer jobs and stuff, and they're needed in the summer. We scale back a little bit, but some in the kitchen. But the kitchen right now, like Jim just pointed out, we got some young talent back there that are learning. You know, you always want to make sure you cover your bases in case we don't want one person to know the drill. We want 3 people to know the drill. So that's where we're at. Bartenders we're training, and we just want
Is Christina Callan your manager? Or what's her married name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so both LR and Christina or you'd put them both down as managers, yes.
Because I know you call out here, Larry Rose, I mean, she directs me right through these golf alleys.
Yeah.
Just
Tell me
trying
here
to
since
teach
they-
you.
they know what
since
they're doing.
Durban, don't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 20-some years.
Yeah.
She'll tell you. She's told me, no, Tuesday's not gonna work, sorry.
And she also tells you to quit driving the cart so close to the green. Just saying.
Well, no, I know, I get in trouble out here.
What's 18 in the cart cost on a weekday?
Oh, I should have had a cheat sheet for this. Weekday, well, it depends. If Tuesdays,
You have
A
special.
dollar cheaper than every other course.
Tuesdays is, Tuesdays is $25.
That's pretty
It's
reasonable.
our good rate there, and it's $31. Seniors, of course, are
Right.
always cheaper.
And weekends are always more
Weekends are
expensive.
$40.
Yeah, okay.
No senior discounts on weekends, it's just packed out here. And so, and then after 2 o'clock or 2:30 or 3, I can't recall, but it does go down in the weekend. Yeah.
How about leagues?
Leagues every night, a lot of mornings. Got Tuesday and Thursday league, there's over 100 in each one of those.
Wow.
120.
Tuesdays,
I
the
think.
scramble, two-man scramble,
Yeah, two-man
Thursdays,
scramble.
play your own.
And it has to push the restaurant business and the bar business.
Absolutely, we always have a special for league special, so when they come in, it could be, we have the Godfather up there today.
The Godfather.
Yes,
After your dad.
yes. He doesn't know it, but he does. You know, but we'll wings for him one night, so the, Lucas, our chef, they come up with, what league special every night, so it's something
Nice.
different, keeps them going,
Nice.
keeps them here. So it's good. It's a fun environment too. I mean,
And there's probably those leagues for year after year.
every year, yeah, there's a waiting list on some.
Repeat business.
Yes.
It's like the outings are too,
In
right?
every outing, as soon as the outing's over, they.
Yeah, I know Larry books us right like that. They
Yeah.
coming next year?
Absolutely,
You know,
yeah.
So, yeah,
Which is
a lot
way to
of,
do it.
one thing I did find out being here, you know, I quit my job in November 30th, so I sat here for over 2 months.
Watch.
Sat there through all the Christmas and, you know, got to know everybody and just sort of watched. And one thing I've discovered is the loyalty that, for this place is, you'll see the same people here 5 days a week to eat, or it's just, it's amazing. So a lot of loyalty here. They love it here, they're treated well here. So we want to definitely make sure.
Well, you know, when I came out, you came and said hello, Jim came and said hello, Tony said, get the hell out of here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was at a different
Leave
time
them alone.
early.
Yeah, leave them alone.
I was doing yard work.
So yeah, a lot of nice people that I've gotten to meet and, you know, new friends.
Well, I know as somebody from Meadville, I'm really proud of you guys. I think it's nice that you bought this place and you're running it,
Yeah,
you know your families. And I think your family should all be proud of you too.
yeah.
I
I always,
pulled a picture out of these guys in 1987 senior trip. They looked like babies.
You're 87, what year were you?
They're all
Oh,
87.
you were 87 too? Okay, y'all graduated together, okay.
So what does your family think?
they were 100%, you know, that was one of their main questions. I bet you Kim, it was Durbin that asked, I bet you, maybe, he wanted to make sure that, you know, it wasn't gonna cause issues with our families. I bet you asked 4 times in negotiation, what's your wife think about this? And she, of course, she's 100% behind me, or I wouldn't have done it, but she.
Well, I gotta stop it right there because I got a Christmas letter in the mail from her. And my wife's reading it out loud. She says, well, apparently we're buying a golf course. And I go, uh-oh.
Good communication
Yeah.
skills there,
Great
Michael. Okay.
But no, she was very supportive. She knew, let's be honest, I don't know if there was a job I've had, and I just had a birthday, that I could say I woke up and was excited about my whole life.
Pasco?
It did the job. You know, every job served its purpose, but
To support your family.
yes,
Yes.
but did I wake up popping out of bed, loving it up? So,
Yeah.
so far this has been,
He graduates college He comes to me for a job because he don't want to not be able to golf with his buddies. He goes, if I take a job somewhere, we're gonna have to move. He goes, you guys hire? I'm like,
Well, you know,
whatever.
it's nice to see you still in the area. People out, nowadays, a lot of kids go to college, they can't come back here and find work.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's
Yeah.
nice that you guys are back here in our hometown. I mean, this is our hometown, Crawford County, so it's all the same.
Yeah.
What'd your wife think, Jim? Your family?
She was excited for us, I think. You know, it's been a challenge being away for so long at some times. You know, it was until recently that I spent more time up here after we purchased it than I was at home. And all three of my boys are still in Pittsburgh, and, you know, it's been a challenge, but we're figuring it out. And I think eventually we'll probably end up back here. It would be nice to have a place in Pittsburgh and here, but I don't know if that's in the cards or not. I always joke and say that if we were to find a place here, it's gonna have to be some kind of a vacation home to entice my boys to come back up. But yeah, she was very supportive and excited. And, you know, she worked it out to be off, you know, for 4 to 5 days at a time. And when she does that, she does come up and stay with me. And she's actually going to start serving
Okay.
from time to time when they need her. She did that her whole life, and she's excited about it.
So it's your wife, I've seen your wife, she busts tables,
Yeah.
your wife's doing the books, your wife's, that's nice.
Yeah, we all.
How about your mom and dad?
They've offered.
I
I
figured.
said, no, you know, just,
Two of my
Yeah,
finest people I ever met.
yeah, but definitely if I asked them to do something, they'd definitely do it. But I think we're covered at this point, so.
Yeah. Does your dad still golf?
He's never golfed.
He's never golfed.
Well, that's not true. He's tried, but
He probably wasn't good at it, 'cause he didn't want to do it, right? Because
he
everything he's
has the
ever
best
done.
practice swing of all time, but then.
You'd be afraid,
left-handed,
you'd be
right?
afraid to play him on his practice swing.
I'd beat
And
him.
then the ball gets put in front of him, and I don't know what happens. He's
chokes.
got Charles Barkley.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah, it's,
So are you guys getting more carts, or you guys keeping the Yamahas or the club?
well, the way they did it is every year they replace the 12 oldest. Is how Durbin and Kim did it. So we took it 1 year off. So we ordered them for next year though. So we'll replace, and we're probably gonna go to all club.
No, Durbin took a year off because he should have ordered them last February.
That's right.
So,
He wanted you
yeah.
to pay for it.
Yeah, hello.
Man,
So now you guys just pay for those, you don't like lease
No,
them?
no,
Buy them.
we buy them, so. So, yeah, so starting next year, we'll start feeding out the 12 oldest and eventually we'll be all club cups.
I see. And you just come here and golf every day, right? You getting tired of it yet?
No, but I'm not getting any better. That's the problem.
Yeah, you have. You're not teeing off at the gold tees now, or well, excuse me, the greens.
The greens.
Yeah.
I moved to reds.
I mean, you got Jim that can help you.
I know. But
Yeah,
still
he's not as bad as you think.
I used to be.
He has great hand-eye coordination. I've played with him a few times. But he
did
enjoys
good.
the
I see
scramble
this
part
year.
of it.
He does.
You know,
Yeah,
there's
so
nothing
all
wrong
I
with
do is
it.
golf
He
with
gets a
scramble.
group
I
of
can't
guys,
count
they
that.
make some scramble teams and they go out.
Yeah, have a good time with it.
every Monday, there's 16 of us. And
So would you guys do this again?
Absolutely.
Would you wish you'd done it earlier in life, maybe?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're still
Back when we
young,
could have
though.
talked the boys into going into, I don't
So
know,
you guys
turf grass.
are what, 55?
at least I am. I don't know if these guys are.
You're 53 still, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because your birthday was what, Thursday?
June 8th, yeah.
And I see them balloons, happy
yeah.
birthday, Mike. You did not like it at all.
Well, mine was in February. Apparently, no one knew that.
Hey, happy birthday, buddy.
No one knew that.
You didn't shout about it. You didn't warn people.
I owe you a beer.
No, thank you. The one that we all pay for anyhow.
But is there anything that you guys would like to add for people that want to come in, try it? You know, I'm pretty sure he'll put the phone number down on the link. Anything else you guys want to add?
I would just really appreciate, you know, that loyalty that Mike was talking about. And, you know, we are doing our best to, you know, hold up what's always been here and make, you know, some of the improvements that we feel are necessary moving forward. And we're just thankful, grateful.
I think that the thing Jimmy's done with the tee box is
I like that.
getting people to come out here and feel good about playing. You know, like you said, you can't hit a par 4 or 2, you're not gonna have any fun. So just go wherever
So the
you want.
beginners can actually move up.
Yeah, get some young bucks here.
And I'd say if you haven't eaten out here or played golf, come on out.
Call first.
Call, of course. We have many different atmospheres here to eat at. This is, we actually named this for Kim and Durban, the Marino Lounge we're
Nice.
sitting in.
Very nice.
But we have many different atmospheres. We got the old part of the end up front you can eat in, the new, you know,
Dining room,
dining,
the
main
bar.
dining, the bar, whatever. And I also want to give a shout out, of course, you know, to our whole staff. I mean, if you talk to any successful business owner, they're gonna tell you you're as good as your staff.
They give up every holiday.
Yeah.
Every
And
Mother's Day.
They've been a
every
blessing to
Thanksgiving.
every one of us. They do a great job here, and we appreciate it beyond what they can imagine, so.
And I see he did this last year, was the driving range, actually adding greens, so, and flags, so.
Like Jim said, something every year. They did something every year to make it a better experience.
And did a lot knowing they were leaving.
Yeah.
Which
Did
says
a
a
lot.
lot,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you can't question their character.
No, no.
And that's one of the nice things about this golf course, you know, having that practice range. Basically, someone who's never played golf before, this could be somewhat of a university where you can go out and learn the game on a practice range, and with the new tees set up, you know, get out onto the golf course and get more comfortable playing, and eventually, you know, maybe end up on the tips. So it's really nice that the facility has that ability to bring anyone out, and they'll enjoy it, even the really good guys. I think.
Before I want to go, you know, Charlie Schaefer, I gotta give him a shout out to him.
Absolutely.
He had a double lung transplant, what was it, Friday?
Yeah,
He's actually out of ICU now, so he's doing better.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely thinking about it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out to him. So it looks like he's up, he has his phone now, so he was blowing us up last night, wasn't he? Jeez. But, for John Matillo and myself, Ed Marin, this is Sports Close-Up, and we want to thank Tony, Jim, and Mike Piro for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure.